Life on Earth started multiple billions of years ago, advancing from the most fundamental of organisms into a stunning cluster of intricacies over the long run. But how did the first organisms on the only known home to life in the universe develop from the primordial soup? What makes the universe what it is today? Over the years, researchers have investigated numerous plans to clarify this reality. Here are the absolute most peculiar thoughts, from a braneworld situation that includes the universe drifting in a higher dimensional space, to the possibility that life was brought here from somewhere else in space. One hypothesis included a stunning start. Another thought is that it's completely chilling. Furthermore, one hypothesis is amazing. Now, in this video, you'll learn exactly how strange all this is as we uncover 10 mind-blowing facts about the universe. Braneworld. The part of the universe we underestimate is that it's three-dimensional. There are three opposite directions you can move: up, right, down, left, forward, back. A few hypotheses, however, recommend another spatial aspect that we can't see straightforwardly in any particular direction. This higher dimensional space is alluded to as the bulk, while our universe is a three-dimensional layer or brane drifting inside of that mass. As convoluted as it sounds, the braneworld picture tackles a few issues in material science. For instance, theoretical physicist Lisa Randall of Harvard University and Raman Sundram of the University of Maryland proposed a variant of the braneworld that clarifies an unevenness in subatomic forces by recommending the presence of other branes corresponding to our own. The Big Splat. In the future, galaxies will ultimately float so far from each other that light from one will never reach another. Truth be told, as stars get old and die, a period will come when there's no light or even heat left. The universe will be a dull, chilly void. It seems like the end of everything, except as indicated by one theory, that it's the start of a new universe in an unending and constantly rehashing cycle. Recall the braneworld theory? This is the thing that happens when one chilly void brane slams into another. Given enough time, it's bound to do it eventually. Cosmologists Neil Turok and Paul Steinhardt believe that such an impact would produce sufficient energy to make an entirely different universe. They consider this the ekpyrotic hypothesis. However, physicist Michio Kaku has more evocatively dubbed it as the Big Splat. Plasma-filled cosmos. The Big Bang remains the favored theory of numerous researchers, upheld by two key perceptions: the expansion of the universe and the cosmic microwave background, CMB. Following the Big Bang, the universe was a lot smaller and hotter, loaded up with gleaming plasma like the sun. We see the finish of this superhot stage as an ocean of radiation occupying the entire cosmos. The extension of the universe over the following billions of years has chilled that radiation off to minus 454 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 270 degrees Celsius, but it is still perceivable by radio telescopes. The CMB appears to be identical in every direction, which can't be explained in case the universe has consistently expanded at its present rate. Numerous researchers accept it went through a short time of a very quick inflation, a fraction of a second after the Big Bang, abruptly expanding in size from a subatomic scale to a few light years. The Multiverse. In the conventional view of the Big Bang, to clarify the consistency of the CMB, it's important to propose an early spurt of super-fast development known as inflation. A few researchers feel that when our universe exited this inflationary stage, it was only one small air pocket in a tremendous ocean of inflating space. In this theory, called eternal inflation, proposed by Paul Steinhardt, other bubble universes are continually springing up in different parts of the inflationary sea, with the entire group making up a multiverse. The theory gets even stranger, on the grounds that there's no explanation that the different universes ought to have similar laws of physics as our own. Some may have more grounded gravity, or an alternate speed of light. Despite the fact that we can't notice different universes directly, one of them might possibly collide into our own. Researchers have even recommended the cold spot in the CMB is the imprint of such a collision. we got gravity wrong. Theories of the universe rely on an exact comprehension of gravity, the main power in physics that influences matter on a large scale. Be that as it may, gravity alone can't clarify specific cosmic observations. If we measure the speed of stars on the outskirts of a system, they're moving too quickly to consider staying in a circle in case the main thing keeping them down is the gravitational draw of the visible universe. Likewise, clusters of galaxies give off an impression of being held together by a more grounded power that can be represented by the gravity of the apparent matter. There are two possible solutions. The standard one inclined toward by most researchers is that the universe contains inconspicuous dark matter, which gives the missing gravity. The other alternative is that our theory of gravity is off base and ought to be supplanted by something many refer to as the modified Newtonian dynamics, or MOND, MOND for short. Researchers proposed the MOND in 2002 in the Journal of the Annual Review of Astronomy and Astrophysics. The two choices between MOND and dark matter are similarly reliable with observations, but are yet to be confirmed. More experiments are needed. Simulation theory. Up to this point, every single one of these theories mentioned in the list has come from researchers, yet here's one from rationalists. Assuming that all of the data about the universe comes into our brains through our senses and scientific instruments, who's to say it isn't a cleverly planned deception? The whole universe may be only an ultra-sophisticated computer simulation. It's a thought that was advocated by the Matrix films, but, as bizarre as that sounds, a few philosophers treat it seriously. Nonetheless, it fails the trial of true logical theory, in the light of the fact that it's basically impossible to prove it true or false. Life was brought here from somewhere else in space. Maybe life on Earth didn't start by any means, but was brought here from somewhere else, an idea known as panspermia. For example, rocks consistently get blasted off Mars by cosmic impacts, and various Martian shooting stars have been found on Earth that a few scientists have dubiously proposed brought organisms here, possibly making us all Martians initially. Different researchers have even proposed that life may have caught a ride on comets from other star frameworks. Nonetheless, even if we consider this idea as valid, the subject of how life started on Earth would then just change how life started somewhere else in space. So, and in case you thought this was all baffling, think about this. Scientists acknowledge that they don't even have a decent definition of life. Life had a chilly start. Ice may have covered the seas 3 billion years ago, but as the sun was about a third less glowing than it is presently, according to researchers. This layer of ice, perhaps many feet thick, may have protected fragile organic compounds in the water beneath from the bright light and annihilation from the cosmic impacts. The cold may have likewise assisted these molecules in surviving longer, permitting key reactions to occur. The Holographic Universe. Think about a security hologram. It's essentially a two-dimensional item being encoded into an entire three-dimensional picture. As per this theory, the entire three-dimensional universe might be encoded on its two-dimensional limit. It may not sound as exciting as living inside of a simulation, but it enjoys the benefit that it's a deductively testable theory. Research in 2017 from the University of Southampton showed it was consistent with the noticed patterns of CMB variances. And lastly, the theory of everything. The theory of everything is a theoretical structure clarifying all known physical phenomenon in the universe. Scientists have looked for such a model since the time quantum physics was developed and Albert Einstein's theory of relativity was introduced in the mid-20th century. While nobody has really been able to come up with such a theory, Stephen Hawking was able to explain a formulation that brought together quantum mechanics and traditional physical science in accordance with the description of black holes. Do you have any theories of your own? Or any thoughts on the theories covered here today? Let us know down below. And as always, thanks for watching.